school buildings, shot the student who did receive it, and then took the lives of 3 of the teachers. He entered a second building, shot 2 more persons before turning the gun on himself. 7 people are confirmed dead. Words alone cannot express all of our sympathies toward those who have been touched by this terrible tragedy. The football team had arrived here in Columbus, Ohio when they received word, and the decision was made to go ahead and play this game against Ohio State. To honor those who tragically died yesterday, all of the decals have been taken off the Iowa helmets, and they will play in a plain black helmet here this afternoon. What we will try to offer you will be 3 hours of escape from this terrible tragedy. And I think that if you take a look at the standings of the Big Ten, you will see the importance of the football game as related to the Rose Bowl. Michigan unbeaten in the Big Ten, a game ahead of Iowa, whom they have already beaten, and Ohio State at 3-1 closes out its season against Michigan. The Buckeyes have reverted back to their traditional football. They run the ball well. Carlos Snow with 29 carries for 169 yards a week ago against Michigan State, and they stopped the run. Steve Tovar is their standout linebacker, and he too is coming off an outstanding game, and he leads the Buckeyes with 54 tackles. And Dick Vermeil, against this Iowa team, they're up against a very talented group.
I agree with you, Brent. You know, Iowa's defense leads the Big Ten in total team defense. But what really impresses me is their offense. They're very well balanced. They both run and throw the ball equally well. And I think it's going to be the passing game that drives Ohio State crazy today. When you look at what they do and how they distribute the ball to all eligible receivers, you can see by this graphic coming up here. Montgomery is the fullback. He's caught more passes than anybody else, but they're all catching the football. Now, when you watch them play on tape, as I have for the last couple of days, I would say in this ball game today, it's going to be the fullback, halfback, and tight end are the big receivers. It's going to be a real interesting matchup.
Little touch of chill in the air here in Columbus, and a slight breeze which might affect the passing. It started with Iowa and Ohio State in just a moment.
Mark Williams, defensive end, number 99, Alonzo Spellman, and nose guard.
Bye. Both Ohio State and Iowa pursuing Michigan. The Wolverines with an easy win today. And yes, Desmond Howard did it again. In fact, he did it twice. 2 more touchdowns for Desmond Howard of Michigan. Ohio State winning the flip, defers. They will kick it off, and Iowa will have the first possession of the game. Harold Jasper and Danon Hughes, the 2 deep men here in Columbus, Ohio, as we get underway. Hughes bobbles, brings it back down. Hughes swinging wide to the left, is down at the 18, where it will be 1st and 10. Jason Simmons brings the return man down. And Matt Rogers, the senior quarterback, who was the all-Big Ten quarterback, will come up here. He's coming off a splendid game against Purdue a week ago, in which he completed 20 of 27 passes. And 2 weeks ago, he scored the winning touchdown running against Illinois. So this will be the first possession of the game, and it will be the Hawkeyes. Mike Saunders and Lou Montgomery are the running backs. Saunders coming off one of his most productive games ever. And a delay call. It is run by Saunders, number 32. Let's take a look at the backfield and the wide receivers here for the Hawkeyes. Saunders gets the game's first carry. Danon Hughes is talented outside receiver. The offensive line features Rob Baxley at 280 pounds, number 78. He could be headed for a spot on the all-Big Ten team this season. A 5-yard gain by Saunders on the opening draw call. 2nd and 5 for the Hawkeyes. Off a fake toss, Rogers' first game to the far side is picked off. Out of bounds was Brian Cook.
They ran an action play away, then went back and tried to throw in behind the 2 deep. Now you'll see from the end zone here, he'll fake a toss play. Now he's going to come back and throw back to the right side of your screen, trying to hit the fade down the sideline. But evidently both people went out of bounds and came back inbounds. See? Oh, and he intercepted it out of bounds as well.
So an incomplete pass, and it is 3rd and 5. Rogers' ball a little bit high on that delivery, wasn't it?
It might be a little bit windy down there, Brent.
Tim Walton, the nickelback, number 18.
Shotgun.
Rogers was going to run it, and he was met first by Alonzo Spellman, number 99.
That is a changeup. Really, they're not a big shotgun team. I don't remember seeing them jump into the shotgun formation. It looked like they wanted to run a quarterback draw on that play, but Big Spellman was there to make the play.
Isaac punting for Iowa. Under pressure, there's a flag. The punter was roughed. Now there was, let's see how they rule this, because with the loss, they had more than 5 yards. Let's see what the penalty is. If it's running into a roughing, Tom Quinn with the call.
It's roughing. You'll see both people came around the outside. I think the person to the left side of your screen coming around, he does not get blocked. Now he goes in and he runs right into him. Definitely. Here it comes again. Boy, you have to protect the punter. See, he has that leg stretched out there like that. Very easy to take a good chunk out of that leg.
Tito Paul running into him, and this figures to be a major penalty against the Buckeyes. And I'll tell you what is so costly as you look at this. With under 2 minutes to go, Northwestern jumps ahead of Michigan State 16-13. And we get word that it is a final. 2 in a row for the Purple Gang out of Evanston.
Stay calm now, you Northwestern alums.
I
want you to go to your head.
Down. That's right. I believe Michigan and Iowa are coming up next for the Wildcats. We will not be overconfident and close.
No.
Now, as the result of that costly penalty denying Ohio State good field position, it's 1st and 10 for the Hawkeyes.
He's audibling.
And the tight end may have moved at that line. On the running play, there's no penalty flags down. The side judge did not throw. Let's take a look at this Ohio State defense. Steve Tovar, the leading tackler, number 58 at 240 pounds, and big Alonzo Spellman has been a factor in this game already. In that secondary, a young man who is maturing as far as the Buckeyes and their fans are concerned, Roger Harper, number 24, the strong safety. Now going to be a 2nd down for Rogers and the Hawks. Calling the plays at the line again, changing his formation, and the backs apparently having difficulty hearing. They move up closer. Rogers firing to Saunders, who until this season was a wide receiver.
You'll see the running backs move up into position to hear what the quarterback is calling in his audible, because there was so much noise down there. As we take a look here, Iowa is one of the college teams that does more audibling to throw the ball than run the ball. See here, everyone coming in, running backs to the left corner of your screen, they're all checking it out. I got you. Now they're going to go ahead and throw the ball.
This is 3rd down and 6 for Iowa. Rogers has time, delivers to Montgomery. Montgomery for the 1st down.
Bill Young, the defensive coordinator for Ohio State, told me they were going to play Iowa very conservatively. They were going to give them the short stuff, make them go the long way. Now, the only problem with that is that Iowa is so efficient that they don't throw many incomplete passes in those short and medium zones. They might have to change up and come with some man-to-man and some blitz as the game progresses.
His 13th year at Iowa. The ball on the Hawkeye 45-yard line. Rogers firing for Hughes. Complete short of midfield. A gain of 2 or 3 yards on that play. And a penalty flag now comes flying as the melee is broken up.
Somebody was not playing the whistle. so far, Ohio State is not playing smart football. Roughing the punter, that's like a turnover. Gave him the ball again now. Here's a play. They don't play the whistle. They keep coming in on hitting. They're hitting. Now, they don't stop. See, here comes more people. The whistle has blown. Not smart football.
That was Mark Williams, we believe, who was penalized on the play. And Coach Cooper, in his 4th year here at Ohio State, was talking to his safety man, Harper, there on the sideline.
Now, Brent, those 2 penalties have shortened the field 30 yards.
And it gives the Hawkeyes a 1st and 10 at the Ohio State 37-yard line.
Hayden Fry told us last night that they didn't think they could beat Ohio State running the football. They came here to throw the ball and mix in the run.
From the right hash mark. Again throwing on 1st down. They let it through to set the screen, and it's Montgomery who got a nice block by Saunders. And Montgomery close to the 30-yard line, and another flag comes flying.
Iowa has all the passing tools, the screens, the draws, the delays, the check downs. The audibles versus coverages seen prior to the snap. They do it all. And Hayden Fry calls it all from the sideline himself as a head coach.
And a costly holding call against the Hawkeyes, and we can take a look at it right in the center of your screen.
That is Devlin, number 60. You see him right there, and he's got his right arm, see, up there, also up underneath the neck. He's still got a hold of him, and then he pulls him down. They're going to call that. That's right in front of the referee.
So instead of being 2nd and short at the Buckeye 30, the ball is coming all the way back to the Hawkeye 48-yard line. And this is going to be a 1st and 20.
See, now this allows Ohio State to jump into a nickel defense and come with 5 defensive backs. They're not doing it, but I thought they would.
They may need a 3rd penalty on this one. Rogers, short drop, fires to Hughes, complete, and he's to the Buckeye 44-yard line.
You see how nicely he got that out pattern out there, Brent? On the practice field here at Ohio State the other day, standing amongst some pro scouts, they were talking about, they were a little concerned that maybe he could throw the outs like this. His arm may not be strong enough. I don't agree with those people. He has a very good, deliberate throw and plenty of strength in that arm.
Foster Pauk, number 22. Shut down on Courtney Hawkins a week ago, was the cornerback on that far side of the field that time. Slot formation to the right. Trap Montgomery battles his way to the 35-yard line. They'll still need 8 yards for a 1st down on this 3rd down play coming up.
I can see the offensive game plan unfolding. Throw the ball, throw the ball. When you want to run, trap. You've got them thinking rushing the passer. When they're rushing the passer, trap them with a lineman coming from the opposite side of the line of scrimmage and getting across that center and trap them as they penetrate. Good thinking offensively.
Hayden Fry's offense now looking at the extra defensive back. Here's the big 3rd down for the Hawks.
This looks like a blitz front package right now. It's the Bear defense initially in alignment.
And a timeout used by Rogers, who picked up that alignment. Rogers preferring to double check with the coaches on that far side. We'll take a break and come right back. The Ohio State sideline with the extra defensive back on the field. Number 18, Tim Walton out there to pick up the receiver. The Buckeyes showing blitz at that line of scrimmage last time. Rogers wants to check the defense first before he calls it.
They're coming after him.
Down he goes at the 46-yard line with Judah Herman, number 36, who played well a week ago against Michigan State in pursuit of the Iowa quarterback.
You know what surprises me, that's the same defense they were in when they called a timeout. Here, they did not have a man to pick up the inside rusher because they had all 3 internal offensive linemen covered. See, no one picks up Judah Herman. What surprises me is that that defense was now not a surprise. That's why they called timeout. They should have been able to handle that.
Jim Hyzak, who is handling all the punting here today.
Ohio State believes they can block one.
Stabline signals for the fair catch at the 15-yard line, where they will have their first possession of the game. So instead of having a first down around midfield, that roughing the punter penalty was costly, and the Bucs will take over back on their own 15. A couple of big stories unfolding in the Big Ten. Indiana certainly appears headed for a bowl game this year. Next week we'll see the Hoosiers at Iowa City. Michigan with Desmond Howard stalking that Heisman Trophy. 2 more touchdowns today for the splendid Wolverine wide receiver. Here it's Kent Graham, the Ohio State quarterback, handing off to last week's hero, Carlos Snow. Snow finds the left side, and a big hero. Graham has now thrown a touchdown pass in 4 straight games, and here are the skilled players working behind him today. You just watch Carlos Snow carried the ball 29 times, a career high against Michigan State. 2 fine tackles, Jason Winrow and Alan Klein, both 300-pounders. And Ohio State with a 7-yard burst by Snow, now in 2nd and 3, and a broken play. Graham keeps it, and Leroy Smith, number 80, wraps him up.
It appears to me that he reversed pivot to hand the ball to Scotty Graham, but Scotty Graham was not running the play. Now here's Smith, number 8, fine pass rusher, fine guy that can come in and make plays behind the line of scrimmage. Wasn't tough for him because the play was not designed for the quarterback to carry the ball. A mental breakdown early.
3rd and 5.
See, they're in 2 tight ends, Brent, trying to balance up the defense that Iowa plays, forcing them to line up man on.
Graham backed up, took off, made his way to the 25, and they're going to apparently be just short of a first down against this Hawkeye defense. Ron Gator, splendid performance last week against Purdue. 4 sacks, caused a fumble, recovered it himself. And in that defensive backfield, number 5, Carlos James has worked his way back into the starting lineups for the Hawkeyes, and they will bring the chains out. This one is indeed going to be close.
If it's not close, it's easy to speculate that they'll just go ahead and punt it away this early in the football game. But we've seen some people doing some different things on 4th and inches. That was a quarterback draw they ran, and you can see that they're gaining confidence.
That's more than inches.
Yeah, that's more than inches. They'll punt it. They're gaining confidence in Kent Graham's ability to run. And you and I have both noticed his improvement in his running skills over the last few ball games. So they try him with a quarterback draw.
That's what they wanted them to do on that 3rd down?
Yeah, that's what they wanted. I watched him work out on the practice field.
Jasper, the return man for the Hawks. And Tim Williams, who does all the field goal kicking off, and punting for Ohio State, will strike this ball around the 14-yard line. Trying to keep himself warm. Ooh, nice punt. Drives Jasper to the 25-yard line. Makes a couple of good moves, and he's out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Iowa's ball when we come back to Columbus. No score, 7 minutes to go in the first quarter. Games between Iowa and Ohio State have been decided in the last 30 seconds. This one, which was Iowa's last win, came in 1987. Then a year ago in Iowa City, the Hawkeyes dominated everything until the last few seconds. And Greg Fry hit Bobby Olive with 1 tick of the clock left. And that did it for the Bucs, who won it. What a close rivalry this has been. But something wild, and according to Hayden Fry, bad, usually happens to the Hawkeyes when they meet up with the Buckeyes. Here it is, 1st and 10, a scoreless game right now. Rogers doing the play calling at the line of scrimmage for Iowa. The toss to Saunders, moving outside, finds a crease and gets to the 38. Greg Smith tackles him.
You know, Saunders has really improved as a running back since we saw him a few weeks ago, Brent. You know, he's a wide receiver that they moved to running back. Now he looks like a running back that used to play wide receiver. He ran real well in the second half of the ball game last week, had his best game at 151 yards and 22 attempts, looking like a running back.
3 carries today for 14 yards. Cracked a rib in the loss to Michigan earlier. Getting healthier by the week, number 32.
Boy, Iowa's doing an awful lot of audibling on the line of scrimmage in this ball game to date.
Off a play fake. Rogers under pressure from Greg Smith. Drops it off incomplete.
Greg Smith is a pain in the rear end to all quarterbacks he plays against. Each time we've seen him play, he's been a factor in tackling the ball carrier behind the line of scrimmage, pressuring the quarterback, or sacking him. The zoology student, Big Ten academic, all-conference student, going to be a doctor. They list him at 6'2". I think he's more like 6 foot even.
3rd and 5 for Iowa. Rogers straight back, gets good protection and throws for the 1st down to his tight end, number 46, Matt Whitaker.
When you get good protection, you can take your time to throw the ball. Watch the offensive right tackle, number 78, Rob Baxley, do a good job here on Kaczerski. Now, Baxley, look at it, good footwork, good use of his hands, and Kaczerski's a good pass rusher. Good body position, good coaching by the offensive line coach, John O'Hara.
Iowa passes for better than 230 yards a game. They rank 27th nationally. Oh, Saunders was stuck by Tovar. What a hit.
32 by Saunders.
Tovar told me the other day when we were looking at tapes together that they weren't going to play much man-to-man. Here he is. He's going to take the flow gap. Here he is. No one picks him up. Normally, see, they're pulling and trapping at this play, and it's hard to pick him up on that. He runs, finds that gap, but he said, we're not playing much man-to-man, so that's going to free me up to attack to run.
Just a junior. One of the best. 2-yard loss makes it 2nd and 12. Rogers getting good protection from that line and throws complete to John Falloon on that far side. Credit the offensive line led by center Mike Devlin with an excellent job.
We'll take a look at the tail end of that just to make sure the official made the right call. There it is to the right-hand corner of your screen. Ball coming down to the middle of your screen. He's going to reach. He's got his feet down. Remember, only one has to be down. Definitely in bounds.
Fine catch by Falloon, who's a control receiver. Nicely done.
And really well thrown, right where it had to be thrown to be complete.
20-yard gain. Iowa again threatening. They have reached the Ohio State 33. Remember, it was a holding penalty, which hurt them on the last drive. Saunders on the delay, can't get away from Judah Herman.
You know, Iowa's been doing a real good job inside the 35-yard line, as you can see by this graphic. Inside their 43 times scored, 32 times, 74%. Now, I think that compares favorably with all the real good offensive teams inside the 35-yard line.
The short field that they're playing on right now.
Ohio State's playing a lot of double zone, 2 deep safeties and rolling the corners up. I look for them to get that tight end down the hole off some kind of play action.
They need 13 yards. Saunders out as a receiver. Again, good protection. And it's Whitaker. Boy, I'll tell you, Baxley and this offensive line are holding out the likes of Alonzo Spellman.
Now we have 2 future pro football players battling each other. Rob Baxley, number 78, to the left of your screen, coming against maybe the premier defensive lineman, Spellman. See, the big thing he does, he keeps his feet moving. He's using his hands, not holding. He's jamming. Seeing his good body tilt. See his tail's down. Good technique. And boy, Spellman, as we've seen in the last few games, is a horse.
battle to watch for the rest of the day. 3rd and 4 for Iowa.
Looks like they're coming after him.
Rogers, who can move well to the left, to Saunders for the first down. Nice ad-lib by Rogers, who rolled over to the left and picked up his running back for the necessary yardage.
I actually felt he bailed out of there too soon. You'll see the quarterback go straight back, and then he'll bail out right away to your right. He feels the outside rush, see? Good sense. He knew the defensive lineman on the right took an inside, and he just rolled outside. I think he could have set it home just a little longer.
Well, one of the things he did by rolling outside, he allowed Saunders to release.
Yes,
Saunders was helping with the pocket, and he could come free on that. Now, this gives Iowa a 1st and 10, ball just inside the 20-yard line. The swing to Montgomery. The fullback met at the 22 by Big Zo.
You know, that's a very interesting play. Now, it didn't make any yards, but what they do is they swing the fullback out and throw him the ball and bring the halfback across to try to get the key block. A week ago, they executed it the other way. They threw it to the halfback, and the fullback got the key block and made a big play with it.
What do you make of this job that the Iowa offensive line is doing so far?
I'd say that John O'Hara, the offensive line coach, has done a real good job of teaching pass protection fundamentals, and they're doing a good job on this rush, and Ohio State will have to change up for some pressure defenses.
Good spot for the defense here. 2nd and 13. Rogers will throw, and again, he's got time. Receiver's covered, so he keeps it. And he's to the 15-yard line. Jason Simmons there for the Buckeyes.
Well, Bill Young, the defensive coordinator for Ohio State, said, the guy that we have to stop is Rogers. Now, that's easy to say about the quarterback, but he meant that in all critical situations, he's the guy that comes up with a big play. 3rd and shorts, 1st and goal to go, 3rd and long. He's the guy either running the option or the scramble or throwing the ball that comes up with a big play.
Third and 5. Rogers for Hughes, out of bounds. Incomplete. Could be field goal time here for Jeff Skillett and the Hawkeyes as Foster Park took the wide receiver, but the ball was out of bounds anyway. That was not going to be a touchdown even if he'd made the catch.
That's right. Good coverage, good bump and run coverage, playing him tight. They were really tight on the sideline, and as you said, Brent, the ball out of bounds like that, it didn't make any difference.
The ball is at the right hash mark. The kicking game certainly has been impacted by the narrowing of the goalpost this year. This a 32-yard attempt by Skillett. And we're still scoreless.
You know, that ball might have been tipped.
Ron Gator batted the ball away.
He's an impressive football player. You mentioned him in the introduction, Brent. He had 4 sacks last week, and I watched that tape, and he's developed some new pass rush moves. The spin moves and that kind of stuff was very effective.
Second and 10 against this Iowa defense. Scotty Graham going out as one of the receivers. Graham on the roll, and the ball is high and incomplete. Jeff Ellis, the intended receiver, was covered by linebacker John Derby. Jeff Ellis turned in one of the biggest plays of the victory over Michigan State, and certainly the best call of the year by Elliott Uzelak when he came up with a 4th and 2 pass, which wound up a touchdown by Ellis.
You know, his stock went down after a major knee surgery, and he came back, and he made it back, and he came back about 30 pounds overweight, and it's taken him time to regain the credibility he had prior to that injury.
On 3rd and 10 with the defense coming through, the screen is set, and this is Snow. He reaches for the first down. It'll be close. There will be a measurement. Derby there defensively for the Hawkeyes.
Really a nice key block in that screen by Jason Winrow, number 68, the offensive right tackle. you'll see him moving inside out. See him reach and cut that nice block. Especially for a man with his, 6 foot 6, 300 pounds that can move like that.
If he gets this first down, it'll be because of Carlos Snow's reach at the end of that run. He's that close.
Looks like they're a little short, Brent. You might now go ahead and go ahead for that 4th down and punch it. Let's see what he does.
They're going to go for the first down. Quarterback Graham stays on the field.
I think we have seen more of this kind of football, 4th and inches football, and going for it this year than any years in the past.
Great percentage.
Yeah.
They've got the fullback, Scotty Graham, set in front of the tailback. Sort of a goal line defensive look, isn't it? Snow looking for daylight, and he makes the first down.
Boy, it took him a long time to get to the line of scrimmage. He handed that ball off real deep, looking for the daylight. Normally, you like to try to get the ball to the line of scrimmage on an inches play much quicker than that. You're never making a mistake when you give the ball to Carlos Snow.
And he moves up on that rushing ladder with that run. That would make him number 4 overall as far as Ohio State football history is concerned. Carlos Snow, who missed all of 1990 with that benign tumor on his right hip, is back and carrying again. Hammered at the 45-yard line with the seconds running down here in the first quarter. 1989, he rushed for 990 yards despite undergoing arthroscopic knee surgery prior to the season. He certainly did not feel 100%, then missed all of last year, and now there he is. He has passed Calvin Murray, whom Coach Dick Vermeil remembers. Murray playing for him with the Eagles, now one of the high school football assistant coaches. You went to talk to his team the other night, Dick.
I still haven't found out if my pep talk helped him win or lose. I talked to him.
Call us collect, Calvin. Hit Graham over the middle and defended by number 15, Brian Wise.
Real good technique at taking that right arm and reaching across and making sure he doesn't make early contact with that left hand. Good coaching by the secondary coach, Bob Elliott. Those are all techniques you teach. This guy is growing in confidence. Now, this is the 3rd time we've been around him. And Brent, he is just, I think, just starting to find out what he has to offer this game. I know this, the pro scouts on the practice field Thursday were impressed with him.
Has good size.
Yes.
He came from the same high school that produced a Hawkeye legend by the name of Chuck Long. Iowa decided not to recruit him. They didn't think he was mobile enough. He went to Notre Dame, transferred to Ohio State, and here he is with plenty of time, firing, and the ball is dropped. One that got away from Jeff Ellis, who had a huge gain for the Buckeyes.
Normally, when you drop a ball like that, when a defender is close to you, you take your eyes off the ball and start to become a runner before you catch it. It doesn't look like it in that shot. It looks like he just didn't get his hands on the ball properly. When the ball's up high, you'd like to put your thumbs together, Brent, and catch the ball.
Looked like he had boxing gloves on.
Yeah, maybe borrowed them from his dad, huh?
That is Harold Jasper running out of bounds after that 30-yard punt. The end of the first quarter, the Buckeyes and the Hawkeyes are scoreless. Ready to start the second quarter here in Columbus. Iowa and Ohio State are scoreless. Matt Rogers with a lot of calls at the line of scrimmage in the first quarter for the Hawkeyes. Fires complete to Saunders. First down. Don't know how how he got away from that tackle.
Showing good balance and body control and getting away from stuff like that. He wanted to run a play action and go to the tight end down the hole. You'll see here that the tight end was releasing to the left of your screen on the play action. They wanted to get him down the hole. It was not there. He looked for it, see him looking to the left, then he goes to his check down. Good progression by the quarterback using all receivers.
That was Brian Cook who had a shot at him. 13-yard gain, 1st and 10 for the Hawkeyes. Montgomery. A little over a yard to the 30, and we take a look at the numbers from the first quarter, Dick.
Well, Iowa statistically has won the first quarter. You look at total offense right here, 75-44, and time and possession, but missing that field goal still keeps it even.
Back in that Michigan game, not only was Saunders injured, but also Matt Rogers, the Iowa quarterback. It's the middle knuckle on the right hand. It struck a Michigan helmet when he was throwing the ball. He takes off as a runner right up the middle. He saw a big hole and ran for daylight close to midfield behind Paul Kuyawa, number 23, who opened the way for a 17-yard run by Rogers.
This is the design quarterback draw. Watch number 23, Paul Kuyawa. He's the lead blocker on the draw for the quarterback. Clever design. Confidence in your ability of the quarterback to run the football.
Young man who just checked into the game and delivered that block. The value of experience at that quarterback spot. Rogers is now having a clinic. This time he goes to Alan Cross. So Rogers, having been around, has the ability to come up to the line of scrimmage and see what the Buckeyes have planned defensively. He has changed any number of plays. It's almost like in the huddle he's saying, check with me, and he comes up to the line and away he goes.
They're wasting their time in the huddle. You know, they get up there and they're calling it, as we said earlier, Iowa does more audibling to the passing game than most colleges do.
Rogers is 11 of 14 for 84 yards, but yet the Hawkeyes don't have any points to score to show for his success so far. This is the toss to Saunders on the short side, wrapped up at the 41-yard line. Jason Simmons and Rich Frimmel, and I know that you wanted to say a few words today about number 91, Jason Simmons.
Well, Jason Simmons is a guy that's not even a starter. He comes in the nickel and he backs up John Kaczerski, but he's number 2 in tackles and loss with the Big Ten, and he's number 4 in sacks. This guy, when he matures at 6'5", 240, now he's just a sophomore, he probably will end up being an All-American by the time he's a senior. You know, there are some guys that play defense that just have the instincts that when they're sophomores, they're showing the reactions that it takes seniors and beyond to learn. It just comes to them natural. And I think Simmons is one of those guys.
So a first down for the Hawkeyes. The ball at the Ohio State 42-yard line. Iowa moving the ball impressively, but they haven't been able to finish off their drive so far.
Bill Young's defensive game plan is don't give him the big one and tackle him on those short ones.
Dropped by Saunders.
That was classic right there. You could see him. He has been a receiver. Now he's a running back. He wanted to be a running back before he caught that one. He really took his eyes off the football. You never know which drop pass is going to come back to haunt you. You'll stop after this ball game. You'll be talking about the Ellis drop. That was a big play down there that he, was right in his hands. He dropped. Sometimes those come back to haunt you. Second and 10.
Rogers again taking off. And he gets to the 34-yard line. Alonzo Spellman took a shot at him at about the 38 and couldn't wrap him up.
He was trying to knock the ball out. That was a clever move. See, again, this quarterback draw. They're running over to the left side into what we call a bubble where there's no down lineman. See, it's all set up. There goes Cuyava leading him through, and you'll see Spellman. Now watch him reach and try to knock that ball out. Heads up.
3rd down and 2. The Hawkeyes need a couple of yards to keep this drive alive.
This is normally a passing formation for him.
Timeout. There's his second timeout. Roger will sprint over to the coaches on the sideline. And we'll be right back. Got the first down. It's 1st and goal for Iowa, short of the end zone.
Normally when they get down here, they like to give the ball to Lou Montgomery, their fullback. He's scored 7 touchdowns running the ball already this year. And in this area, they like to give him the ball. He's very sure-handed, and he doesn't turn it over. First down.
Montgomery will be the lone running back. Rogers follows him toward the end zone for the touchdown. A penalty flag down. The side judge throwing the penalty flag, so hold on. But it's against Ohio State. So Rogers gets into the end zone with the game's first touchdown.
You can see right here from the sideline that Brian Cook is lined up offside. See, there he is. That was obvious. Now he's following him right into the hole. Fullbacks actually became a lead blocker. I tell you, it didn't look like he scored on that.
Boy, that was close. Roger Harper, number 24, met the Iowa quarterback.
Number 11, Jeff Skillett.
Very close at that goal line.
He had to feel that. Harper really belted him.
I guess that's one of the reasons why you don't see a whole lot of NFL quarterbacks.
That's for sure.
Keeping the ball inside the 5 and trying to run it into the end zone themselves. Skillett adds the extra point. Iowa 7, Ohio State nothing. It was a one more look at this, Dick. I'm not really sure that Matt made it across the plane of the goal line here.
I don't think he did from this angle. You know, you watch it. Watch, he's taking the ball. He's getting contact. He's frozen right there.
Well, the impact comes there.
Yeah, it's close.
Shooter, I mean, it certainly is close where the impact was made. It was 1st and goal, though. The Hawkeyes might have made it on second.
Plus, the guy that called it a touchdown had a lot better view than we have from here, and that camera had that we just replayed. So,
really?
Yeah.
Skillett to kick it off. Dante Lee and Carlos Snow back deep. This is Snow at the 20, making it to the 27-yard line, and Carlos James defending him there for the Hawkeyes. So Ohio State finds themselves down by 7, and the one play you go back to with Ohio State was that drop pass by tight end Jeff Ellis. That would have kept their rally alive.
You bet. And they were, with that reception, they were in range for the field goal, even if they didn't do anything after that. Ohio State plans to be a little more balanced on first down run-pass ratio in this ballgame. That's what Coach Uzelak told me, the offensive coordinator.
Keeping the fullback offset. Carlos Snow breaks that first tackle, and Derby, number 31, bringing him around. That was the nose man there. Selma trying to bring him down, and he could not.
Well, they must have blown the blocking assignments inside to turn the nose guard that loose that cleanly. Derby is their best linebacker. I had a nice visit with him yesterday, and yeah, his mission is to take on the fullback today.
2nd and long for the Bucks. Graham off a fake. Receivers are covered, so he takes off. Now fires downfield to Galloway, who dropped a touchdown throw. Would have been 6.
Woo! Galloway is their big play receiver. You'll see it right at the bottom of your screen. Right there, eyes must have been watching Clark's hands rather than the football. Didn't concentrate watching it all the way into his hands.
Wow, that's 2 important drop passes for John Cooper's Buckeyes here this afternoon. Gary Clark on that play may have gotten a hand on that ball as it was getting beyond him. Not quite sure, but it's possible that Clark did touch it just enough to throw off the trajectory. Graham throwing again on 3rd and 9. Almost intercepted by James. Let's take a look at this again and see if Clark didn't make a huge play here.
Right down at the bottom of your screen in the middle. Now watch 19 reaching with his right hand. I don't think he touched it.
No, I don't think he touched it.
It did distract him,
though. It came through his arms. He didn't touch the ball.
Galloway has been averaging 27 yards of reception, and he drops that one.
One of the Hanson brothers was spotting that one for me. 2 of 8 for 30 yards for Graham in this game. Williams punting the ball. Fielded.
Oh, clip.
They're on the 35. There's the flag on the clip. So the penalty flag comes flying that time. James Freeze, and now a little extracurricular activity breaks out.
It was a pretty good clip. You'll see to the right side of your screen, Cook, number 29, right here. He's getting hit from behind. There it is right there.
What was that? What was that thing on the screen?
That's a football. This is a computer. That's what the game is all about, isn't it?
You play your own computer game up here when we're in commercial.
Well, they aren't foolproof, believe me.
Well, now Quinn and his crew will get this all sorted out.
That's Coach Elliott, the secondary coach, doing the talking to the secondary people.
And we will see Coach Elliott's wide receivers next week over at Iowa City. It'll be Iowa against Indiana. A chance to look at Von Dunbar. And some of you will see Washington, still hoping to win a national championship, take on USC. Now, that's a team they whipped up on pretty good last year, and they got to go down to Los Angeles. So check your local listings. We've got some good ones coming your way next week on ABC. First down. Rodgers complete. Lou Montgomery.
Rodgers does such a nice job, Brent, of looking downfield, wanting to go down there. It's not there. He doesn't waste 1 second getting the ball over to a layoff position and getting that ball moved positively 5, 6, 7 yards.
You know, this is just like a year ago. Iowa dominating the game, moving up and down the field. And then Ohio State caught lightning in a bottle in the last couple of minutes. Blocked punt. Final second touchdown pass to Bobby Olive. Something crazy always seems to happen to Iowa when they take on Ohio State. This time it's Saunders. Nothing crazy on that play. That's a fine first down run for the Hawks out to the 35. But hold on. The yellow hanky down again. I spoke too soon.
Illegal use of the hands on the offense.
Can't blame him for being angry.
Yeah.
Going through his notes, he calls all the offensive plays.
He calls it all.
Although he's getting help from his quarterback today.
Yeah, you bet he is.
There's Matt Rogers, whose father made his coaching debut last night with the Minnesota Timberwolves in Minneapolis. And unfortunately for Jimmy, And fortunately for the Utah Jazz, the Jazz came away a winner. A record snowfall in the Minneapolis area, and even though they were sold out, we understand that only around 7,000 basketball fans were able to watch the Timberwolves. And then Coach Rogers came down here with Matt's mother and their older son, who works back in the Boston area, so they're all in attendance here today at Columbus, watching Matt Rogers, who next year will get a crack with an NFL team. He's one of the senior quarterbacks who will be drafted. Can't say enough about his offensive line. Drops off. Completion. The ball is short of the first down, but I am so impressed with this offensive line. That was Lou Montgomery.
He's being given all the time he needs to go through the total progression of the pattern. Primary receiver, second guy, third guy, check down. Real good pass protection.
Davis, Belisar, Devlin, Ferroni, Baxley. Let's give a big round of applause to those guys down in the trenches. This Ohio State defense slowly becoming one of the best in the country.
And they came into the ball game with 23 sacks. They only had 26 the whole season last year, so they're much improved pass rushers.
Now here's your 3rd and 3. Let's see what happens here.
They're coming
strength on strength. Rogers incomplete, and the Hawkeyes are forced to punt.
Pressure do make a difference. No time to settle there and throw the ball accurately. They may have to revert to a little more of that on the earlier downs. That meaning change up, a little more pressure defense.
Stabline and Taylor are going to go deep for this punt. Isaac moves up close to the line. Boots it high to Stabline. Returns up the middle to midfield. 5:46 to go in the first half. Iowa leading Ohio State by a touchdown. Cheryl Miller. Cheryl?
I'll tell you, Brent, first of all, it is freezing down here, but I'm not going to hold it against you and Dick at all. But for my sidelight story, motivation should not be a problem for Ohio State, since today's game and every game remaining, for that matter, could have Rose Bowl implications. But adding some fuel to that fire, Coach Hayden Fry made a statement that Ohio State was lucky last year. Well, you know, you better believe that this was hanging in the players' locker room, hanging from every stall, matter of fact. But you guys, as a former athlete, I can only tell you that a statement like that would only add a little extra incentive in a game like this.
Carlos Snow.
And Cheryl, it helps to have a Carlos Snow. But can I tell you something, Cheryl? I thought Ohio State was lucky last year myself.
I did too. We were there. We were there. You know, and Hayden Fry told me last night he hasn't talked about the so-called jinx with Ohio State at all. All they've been all week long is as positive as they can possibly be in preparation for the game.
Second down. Graham and the Bucks down a touchdown. Here's the workhorse. Close to a first down.
Lenny Hartman, number 52, the fine young offensive left guard, did a real nice job. You'll see him pop up to the right side of your screen. Both the guard and tackle are pulling. See number 52 to the right. Here they come. Now watch him get a hook block. There's Big Klein, 67. See, he gets him tied up right there. Just enough so Snow can accelerate and get on outside. Good job by academic all Big Ten, Lenny Hartman.
And it was a first down.
Holding.
Come back with Snow, and the penalty flag down on the play. You know, folks, of all the broadcasters that I've had the pleasure of working with, the one who probably does more homework than anybody I've ever been around is Dick Vermeil. And he set a new standard last night when we drove to a town, Waverly, Ohio, the old Emmett Hotel, which has been remodeled. And folks, when we were finished with dinner, Coach Vermeil took me upstairs to visit a psychic. Now,
I thought you needed some help.
Yeah, and here was Coach saying, tell us who's going to win the game. I couldn't believe my ears. I was Very carefully.
Hey, I just believe in thorough preparation.
I'd
You know what
say-
she said, though?
What'd she say?
She said it would be a slow starting game. In the middle of the game would be very exciting, and she thought the Hawkeyes were going to win the football game with a big play in the fourth quarter.
Hey,
That's what the
you wanna know
sidekick said.
something? If this comes up, Hawkeyes, I'm going to Waverly before the Bears play tomorrow and find out. There's a first down. And off, and Snow breaks to the 35-yard line. Come to think about it, I wonder what our friend the psychic would have to say about this one. The Giants and the Eagles at 9 Eastern. Let's see. No Randall Cunningham, so the Giants have a chance to win one. Is that right in that matchup, Coach?
I don't know. I tell you, the Eagles have had some real problems with the quarterback situation and the offensive line, but I think they'll play them real well Monday night.
On second down, right now, it is the Buckeye offensive line getting the job done.
The offensive line is really coming off the ball real well now. Just straight zone, man-to-man blocking here. Now they pull a backside guard. He gets a kick block right there on Derby, knocks him down. And the best thing you can do for Snow is give him a crack to run straight upfield.
So Carlos Snow back in business here against the Hawkeyes with a first down at the 25-yard line. A hole up the middle. What a north-south runner he is. Takes it to the 13-yard line. First down, Ohio State.
Again, a real fine block by Lenny Hartman. The offensive left guard pulled around and sealed it. Now, you'll see what I'm talking about right here. Watch him. He had pulled around, and he's going to seal the defense and create that crack. Here he goes. Now, see, Hartman, number 52, gets him sealed, right? And there he goes, again, running straight upfield.
He's rushed for 64 yards already this afternoon with 12 carries. He gained 169 yards a week ago for John Cooper against Michigan State. And Carlos Snow is back in business.
Well, these guys get inside the 20-yard line. They're as good as anybody. They score, and more often than not, they score touchdowns. 26 times down there, 22 times they scored, 18 touchdowns. Outstanding percentage of touchdown scored.
Snow again to the 2-yard line, and this again will be close to a first down.
Hartman is having a field day. Lenny Hartman, 6'2", 280-pound offensive guard. He's going to pull around now, and watch him come through this hole as they double the nose guard. Here he comes. They found a place to run, and he's going to come around and keep it going. Nice job by Len Hartman.
Elliot Usulak has brought back basic, tough offensive football to Ohio State. Woody Hayes would have loved these runs.
He would indeed.
He is the offensive assistant for John Cooper, who's in his 4th year. Cooper's contract has not been renewed, and there are a lot of folks that don't think it will be unless he gets to the Rose Bowl. He's never beaten Michigan. He brought in Usulak as his offensive coordinator when Jim Coletto was hired by Purdue, and the Bucks are pounding back here in the first half. First and goal for Ohio State. Snow for the touchdown, standing up.
They set in a strong formation to the defensive left, offensive right, and then they ran away from the string. See the backs set on this side, they ran away from it. Now again, they gave the ball to the right guy. Give the ball to your workhorse. Low, strong, pads down, takes it in the end zone.
Ohio State needs the extra point to tie it. Deadlocked at 7.
You know, I think that Iowa touchdown sort of fired up Ohio State. I mean, their whole demeanor, their tempo, their enthusiasm just picked up after that first score by Iowa.
Well, the defense set that one up. They held Iowa, made them punt, and then played on a short field. And they moved in for the touchdown with Carlos Snow carrying the ball every play on that drive. Snow going 9 times for 50 yards. What a remarkable comeback story that young man is.
You know, when you talk to Carlos Snow about his future in football and all that kind of stuff, he doesn't have much to say. He just says, you know, what'll happen and what'll happen. But I really believe he's going to be a quality draft choice in the National Football League and play for a long time.
Another huge crowd here in the Horseshoe.
Probably only 94,000 here. Isn't that something? 94,000.
This is Hughes from the 14. Hughes comes back to the left, and he's down at the 31. Let's go to Cheryl Miller and a sidelight. Cheryl?
Brent, just moments ago, number 13, Chico Nelson, was in the examining room being examined for, after bruising his left knee. Billy Hill, the head trainer, said that they'll reevaluate him at halftime. They said he should return.
So Nelson out of that defensive backfield right now for Ohio State, and he has checked back in.
You know, his real name is Willie Nelson. No relation.
Nelson out only briefly, and it's 1st and 10 for Iowa. Good fake by Rogers. Plenty of time. Comes back to the short receiver Saunders, and Saunders out of bounds on that far side.
See, on that pass, play action pass, Rogers had a choice of 2 layoff people. Actually, he passed up a better layoff to go back to Saunders with the layoff pass.
Gained 9 yards. Rogers had a hot hand last Saturday, and he's just continuing here.
Well, Hayden Fry said they came here to throw the football. They didn't think they could beat him running. They just run enough to keep him honest, but we were going to throw.
Basic 4-3 defensive look by Ohio State. Montgomery short of that first down. Strong defensive charge led by the nose man Greg Smith.
I can't say enough good things about this guy. You know, granted he's 6'2", maybe 6'2", 250. In contrast to Spellman, who is really an NFL player. This young man will not be, but right now he's a better college football player.
We get confirmation on the crowd, a brand new record. 95,357 here in Columbus. Watching the 6-1 Buckeyes against the 6-1 Hawkeyes. 3rd and 2 now for Iowa. Hughes is your man in motion. Comes to the right, and wide open is Cross. Hughes ran off the secondary, and they won't stop him. A beautifully conceived play and a 61-yard touchdown. It was almost like Ohio State only had 10 players on the field.
Well, they blew the coverage. They were in a bare 46 defense with a slot away. Tight end all over here, all by himself. See the tight end standing up, all by himself. They blew the coverage. In this coverage now, I think the linebacker is supposed to stay with him. See, he saw the tight end start to block, and that released him to blitz. He's in a blitz-engage technique, ladies and gentlemen, and what happened? The guy slow blocked and then ran. That's good design.
Dick, what impact does the motion man have on that secondary, Hughes, when he comes through?
Well, that showed that was all man-to-man. That told the quarterback we were man-to-man. But what happened is the man coverage covering the tight end has him if he goes out for a pass. If he blocks, I rush. Well, he blocked for a second, he rushed, then he released. No one covering him. They call that blitz engage. See what I mean? Now you'll see this guy right here. Watch the tight end turn out and start to block. See, like that? Now he releases. Right here, you can see no one on him. He's rushing. And you know something? He did what he was coached to do in that kind of coverage scheme.
Here's Skillett. Blocked, extra point. It's a live ball. The Buckeyes with Jason Simmons going for 2 points. He's got it. Greg Smith blocked it, and Simmons ran it in for a deuce. How about those 2 plays?
93 yards. That's the second time Ohio State has done that this year. Here it is. 91, Jason Simmons kick, planted. Ball's on the ground. Here comes Simmons picking up. You know, he can run. We were talking about him earlier. See, he's not just the big old slow defensive lineman. He can run. The second time Ohio State has done that this year. The other one was by Steve Tovar, who took one in for 2 points, 96 yards.
Jim Hartlieb, the holder, the last man with a chance at Simmons. Oh, we thought we were looking at 14-7, and that scoreboard is 13-9. And what was it? She said quiet, slow, and
dull in the middle. Pick up in the middle.
I don't want to hear anymore.
Cherie, you're right so far. Here, taking another look at it, lower part of your screen, you see the ball was batted. It was a low kick. That's why it was blocked. Good penetration, but a low kick. And here he goes. Now he becomes a sprinter, a defensive lineman's dream. What is that rule's been in effect now, what, 3 years?
I tell you, Iowa, Ohio State, folks, something unusual always happens in this game. We've had 2 plays like that. We've got to give a round of applause to Davey Nelson. That's his rule, and that was exciting. That's the first time I've seen it.
Yeah.
And it's
That's the first time I've seen it. I saw it on tape 3 years ago when it happened to Washington-Cal game, but we weren't doing the game.
Well, George Hansen just tells me that they changed that to an 85-yard touchdown run. And there's the young man who ran it in for 2 points. It's 13-9, folks. 2 minutes here in the first half. Butler by Note into the gate. And Raymond Harris hands to Binote on the reverse. Here we go again. The 37-yard line. Folks, it's just Iowa and Ohio State.
This is what college football is all about. There's more excitement in one good college football than 4 or 5 NFL games. You know that? No. Everything happens. Everything
Easy
happens.
now.
It's amazing. Some of the games, I've been turning them off. I go to sleep.
I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Ball is at the 37-yard line. The Bucks with 1:59. Binote stays in the game. He was wrapped up by Mike Wells.
You can bet that Bill Brazier, the defensive coordinator, has made an adjustment in his defensive alignment to take away that play that they were running so effectively in that 50-yard touchdown drive. They'll cover those guards for a little while and not present that bubble right at that point of attack.
Second and long. Graham firing complete to a diving Bernard Edwards. And coming up at the half on the Prudential halftime report, Mark Jones and Bo Schembechler will run down the top 25 scores.
Mark what?
Mark Jones.
Mark Jones.
He's on the Prudential halftime report, and we'll take a look at those difficulties unfolding down there at Auburn. Auburn playing Florida today. It is 3rd and 7. The ball at the 40-yard line for the Buckeyes. Kent Graham with a nice fake. Fires complete. And again, again, that is Edwards shaking and baking to get out of bounds in Iowa territory. 52 seconds to go. We take you back to a week ago when Michigan State could not kill the clock, and Ohio State moved down and kicked a mighty big field goal at the time. And here come the Buckeyes again with 52 seconds, and the Bucks have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. Backside Smith.
Boy, that Smith, when he came off that backside, you said backside Smith, he covered that 10 yards in a flash. He is really quick when he comes off the corner. He has 8 sacks going into this ball game, just got his 9th. Very good speed, state quarter-mile champion in high school, so you know that he can really run. Take a look at the speed of Smith. Upper right-hand corner, here he comes. Now the tailback sees him coming, but he's already there.
Great tackle as he reached over Benote. Benote actually pretty good block on him that time, and Smith was able to roll off, grab the quarterback at the ankles, and hold him down.
What made it tough for the quarterback to read is they lined up Smith wide outside the linebacker position and brought him from there. You don't normally see a linebacker blitz from that position.
Look a little bit about the situation here with 39 seconds to go. The Buckeyes have 2 timeouts, and I would think on that last play that Coach Cooper might have been unhappy with his quarterback that time.
I tell you, you have to watch out getting too upset with your quarterback during the game, especially a guy that's only been a starter for 1 year. The big thing you want to do with your quarterback in game situations is keep him pumped up.
The gentleman with the headset on who was doing the talking down there was the offensive coordinator, Uselak.
Good football coach. He really gets after him. Good disciplinarian. They're tough. He has slimmed this football team down a little bit. He's gotten after him and made it a little tougher.
Graham back. Crushed at the 39. Rod Davis, who is playing today, leading that assault on the quarterback. There is a penalty flag thrown, and a timeout has been called by Ohio State.
Well, they run play action on real long yardage situations. Normally you'd think they would run a drop back pass and get those backs out, but they wanted those 2 backs in there for protection purposes and maybe freeze the front a little bit with the play action.
Well, tonight, after new episodes of Who's the Boss, referee Quinn was the boss there, wasn't he, folks? And then the growing pains. It is the 2-hour Commish movie special. You'll love the special personality of the Commish tonight on ABC, and that penalty is against the defense. That's what it is. I sort of saw that out of the corner of my eye when he was pointing, and Hayden obviously upset on that far side. That very much keeps this drive alive. Now it is going to be second and a whole lot shorter after that penalty.
Line of scrimmage, the 44-yard.
Graham dropped it all low for Benote that time, and it is incomplete, and Smith was all over the running back.
Again, Leroy Smith showing his ability to burst once he recognized what's happening and cover that ground quickly. It's a good thing he didn't catch it. It would have been a headache. Leroy Smith is from Sicklerville, New Jersey. He used to work out with Wilbert Montgomery when he was a young kid in high school. Lived over there by Wilbert, who played for me at the Philadelphia Eagles. And I think he swiped some of Wilbert's quickness, using it today.
That quickness has disrupted the Ohio State offense right now. This is 3rd and 7 with 26 seconds. Graham is taking a look at more defensive speed. Off the fake. Ball is fumbled, and he grabs it back. Well, I'll tell you, Leroy Smith has had a great defensive series.
Again, the coverage did a good job of taking away the receivers. And see, this is not the type of pass offense that Iowa runs. The progression isn't quite as automatic, quite as responsive. He's holding on the ball, and here comes Smith. Was that his third sack of the day? Second or third sack of the day?
We've got a timeout with 7 seconds, Dick, and I do want to go back and correct a mistake that I made at the top of the day. Many of you, of course, are very aware of that tragedy which unfolded at the University of Iowa yesterday afternoon, and the players, in honor of the 6 persons who have died in that wild shooting spree, have taken all the logos off their helmets, wearing the plain black helmets today. But we had been told that there were 7 dead, and we get word, George Wine of the SID's office coming up and telling us that there are 6 who have died in that tragedy, and 1 is still in critical condition. And again, all of us certainly sending along our sympathies to everyone at the University of Iowa who has been struck by this terrible tragedy. The football team was already in Columbus, Ohio. The decision made to go ahead and honor their commitment here and play this football game. They're coming to the end of the first half as Graham goes long, and it is intercepted. It was intercepted at the 2-yard line with time running out here in the first half.
Number 6, Scott Blake.
The Iowa Hawkeyes will take a 13-9 lead into the locker room here at intermission. And there is their traditional exit.
National Football Foundation.
And certainly many of the young men here today are playing with a very heavy heart for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
The Ohio State University. Today we salute Jim Skillett.
For the Buckeyes. Skillett will put the ball on the tee, and Ohio State with the first possession of the second half. Raymond Harris, one of the deep men. If we go back a week ago to Michigan State, it was this opening series of the second half which ignited the Buckeyes on their way to a victory. Harris fakes the reverse and not biting. There were 2 key plays, 2 huge plays in that first half. This one, the touchdown pass from Iowa, Matt Rogers to Alan Crosstick.
This was a very clever, well-coached, designed play, and it turned him loose because the man in coverage thought he was blocking and released and went in and blitzed the quarterback. No one picked him up.
Then the extra point, and Greg Smith comes right up the middle, blocks the Skillett attempt, and Jason Simmons is there to scoop it up. And he runs it back for 2 Ohio State points. Benote starts the second half. Fumble! Iowa gets back on top of it. They had it for a moment. I'm not sure that they did get it now. Iowa had possession, and you can see that Stabline came away with the football. The ball should have been wrapped up by the Hawkeyes. It was an enormous moment for them, and they let this recovery get away from them.
He's breaking out now. He's got the ball in his right hand right now. It gets stripped out, and there goes the ball flying on the ground there. It's bouncing around Clark, number 19. He's going after it. Shouldn't try to pick those up. You should cuddle it. Just roll right over the top of it.
Kent Graham handing the ball off on this first down. James simply didn't fall on the ball and recover it.
You know, you actually go through fumble recovery drills on the practice field where you slide in and scoop and cradle a football. He did not use that technique. If he had, he would have recovered it. I wonder where Carlos Snow is.
He's on the sideline in his battle gear. But right now, it's Raymond Harris in behind Scotty Graham, and Scotty Graham has been used mainly as a blocker. This is Raymond Harris, hammered at the 35-yard line by number 31 linebacker John Derby.
Brent, you made the statement Scotty Graham is normally used as a blocker. Just as you said that, he just knocked the heck out of an outside linebacker and put him down on the ground. You'll see it, I think, here to the left side of your screen. You'll follow the fullback. There, look at that knockdown block. Just as you said that. He was listening to you.
Well, Leroy Smith, number 8, better be a defensive player the Buckeyes pay attention to. He closed out the first half on a tear. Raymond Harris on a quick hitter for the Bucks. and he gets to the 46-yard line.
What's happening is Ohio State is picking up the tempo of getting up on the line of scrimmage and going, and Iowa's defense is jumping around and not getting lined up properly. You'll see defensive people here moving around, getting lined up real light. Look at that hole. I think I could run through that hole 35, 40 years ago. You see that? Iowa's going to have to get lined up and show the front right now.
13-yard run. Now it's 1st and 10, and Harris again, and number 54, 64. Rod Davis was there along with Mike Wells.
There's something obviously wrong with Carlos Snow. Now they're down to their 3rd tailback, and if he wasn't, okay, we just have a report that he was dinged in the head, and he will probably come back.
He was injured then on his touchdown. That's the last time that he's carried the ball. Remember, on that 50-yard scoring drive for the Bucks, number 25 carried it on each play and scored a touchdown. But he looks like someone who's eager to get back in there, doesn't he? 2nd down. Graham off a fake. Receivers were covered. Now he takes off. Out of bounds in Iowa territory at the 46-yard line. He's short of the 1st down. This is going to be 3rd and short.
He wanted to throw back to Ramon Harris, who came out of the backfield. He couldn't do it. He found himself in a scramble situation. The intelligent thing he did is he maintained the threat of the pass by keeping his arm up and pumping the ball. We're going to go back and take a look at that Snow touchdown to see if we can see where he got hurt. Here he is there deep to the left side of your screen.
Got hit on impact. 3rd and 3, and Harris for the 1st down to the 40-yard line.
Again, they have that running momentum going for them right now that they had on that 50-yard drive for the touchdown. I would expect Bill Brazier, the defensive coordinator for Iowa, to come with some kind of a change-up defense and get after him, try to throw him for a loss. They wanted to try to keep Ohio State in some passing down situations because they're not known for their passing game.
They just sent Moses Santos into the game for blue. He brought the defensive call, and that was Leroy Smith, number 80, coming up over the top of the ball carrier that time. Been a one-man assault force here today.
You know, in the 2nd half of the last 3 ball games, Iowa defense has held opponents to minus 28 yards rushing in the last 3 games. Buckeyes have 43 today.
So number 8 getting the job done, Leroy Smith. Graham with a deep handoff. And Harris to the Iowa 35. This is going to be 3rd and almost 5.
That really showed the value of real good quarterback technique, faking-wise. He went back there, and he made that nice fake. He handed it off, and he kept pretending like he was going to go back to throw, and the defense kept coming after him.
Rod Smith, the offensive guard, shaken up, coming off to the sideline. He has been playing his way into shape with the Buckeyes. The coach is not happy with the fact that he was weighing in at over 300 pounds a few weeks ago. Now the 3rd down carry by Harris, and they missed Carlos Snow on that series.
Again, they almost caught Iowa defense moving. They were still moving and not lined up, but they moved correctly. They moved right into where they were running. But there were people not down in their stances at the point of attack.
Now Wise helping out there defensively along with Faley and Gator as the Hawks gang up on Harris and force an Ohio State punt on their first series here in their 2nd half. Jasper standing back at the Iowa 10. Hawkeyes 13, Buckeyes 9, just underway here in the 2nd half.
That's the kind of punch you want to kick in that zone.
He signaled for the fair catch. It took an Iowa bounce, and it's down at the 17-yard line, where Iowa will put it in play with their first possession. Smith out. Yanked out for this short yardage play here. Rogers keeps it for the first down.
You notice how that time, Brent, that Iowa did not go in a tight formation. See, so you go to a short yardage defense expecting a short yardage formation, 2 tight ends and a wing back, and all of a sudden they're spread out all over the field, and there was some confusion.
Smith returns. He was out after being shaken up for a play. Been some heavy hitting in this one. On first down, here's the hand to Montgomery, who breaks a tackle. Across midfield. Harper in pursuit. Inside the 30-yard line. Montgomery showing superb speed. Burst 53 yards.
Real good block by the running back, halfback, in this case Sanders. He blocks now. He's blocking for Montgomery, the fullback. Then he runs through a block right there, or tackle rather, and now he shows his burst and heads upfield.
Kuyawa replaces Montgomery. And Saunders with big Alonzo Spellman coming from the rear. Kaczorski down there at the bottom of the pile. And it'll be 2nd and long for the Hawkeyes. Boy, with the success that Iowa's had today, going to Alan Cross, you would expect Hayden Fry to maybe run that tight end right down at that 2-deep zone at us again here.
It would be a good call, Brent. And if they're not in their 2 deep, then you go ahead and execute the other part of the pattern. It looks like right now they're in a 2 deep.
And Matt Whitaker is the tight end standing up on the left side as Rogers calls the play at the line.
I wouldn't doubt that he audible. No.
Spellman breaks free. Wanted Saunders incomplete, and Big Zoe was coming.
Yeah, Big Zoe was summoned. And over there, Saunders sort of short-armed that pass. He went to reach for it, and he saw the guy coming.
Look at the guns on this guy. Are you kidding me?
Here he comes to the left side of your screen, and he has such a long reach. He doesn't have to get close to you.
This is not
those
fair.
long arms that grabs you.
Send him to Mike Ditka. He's not in the right league. Get him out of here. 3rd and 10.
They're in a nickel defense now.
Firing over the middle to the 15-yard line, and John Falloon for the first down.
Well done.
Huge 3rd down play by Matt Rogers, and they blocked Alonzo Spellman. They kept him out.
They blocked him and everybody else. Good pass protection. And pass protection is technique. You'll see here from the right side of your screen, you'll see the war going on right here. Baxley, see, now good footwork, good handwork, feet are always apart, tail down. See, now he gets time to throw that in behind the zone.
First down for the Hawks. Toss to Saunders. Squeezes through to about the 13-yard line, and Judah Herman, number 36, waits for him.
You get down in there with a guy like Rogers. In the past, they've liked to run the option. Now, I don't know if they're going to do that today because they're taking a little different approach, Brent, but that's what they've liked to do in the past.
Did you see Judah's helmet? Did you? Now, folks, that's a defensive player's helmet with the scratches on it. Look at that, huh? Yeah. Now, there's a man who works down there on Saturday afternoon.
You bet he does. He came here making 578 tackles out of high school. That's why his helmet's just a carryover.
2nd down for the Hawks. That's Saunders stepping out. Rogers, deep drop and a dangerous throw as Alonzo Spellman
almost had one picked off. Spellman almost picked that one off. He's really upset about that. Look at him right there. You'll see Spellman here on the left-hand side of your screen. Now he's on the other side, rushing on Scott Davis, number 65, and he breaks off here. Now there he is. He batted the ball. He almost caught it.
This is 3rd and 8. Spellman is so tough to block. When they move him around, they're not sure where he's going to line up. They try to keep him away from Baxley.
Big thing here is to don't take a sack if you can't throw it completely.
Under pressure, firing, and he's got his running back at the 8-yard line, short of the first down.
So he's got, what, a 25-yard field goal attempt here.
That was a good stop by Cook over there on Saunders.
Again, under pressure. Here's Spellman coming up the outside, Smith up inside. He throws it out there to the right of your screen. The big thing is to don't take a loss in those situations. They actually gained a few yards. Good field goal position.
Iowa uses a timeout. We'll take a break. To attempt the field goal, he missed a 32-yarder back in the first quarter, and he had an extra point blocked. The kicking game has betrayed the Iowa Hawkeyes all year. This a 26-yarder and a big one for them. They run the... what was that?
I'll tell you, I don't know, but the kicker started way too soon. Skillett's timing was way too soon. He couldn't even get the ball down. He almost kicked it in the air. That's a swallow the olive job right there. You'll see what I mean. Watch the holder to the left side of your screen. See, it's way out of sequence here. No, he's running a fake.
He's running a
fake. He's running a fake.
He had the inside pitch on the fake. That was the play that Florida State used against Michigan, I believe, this year, with that inside man coming around.
That's right.
They pitched it to him.
Take a look from the high end zone. Maybe we can see it. As we looked at it from here, here's your holder. As we looked at it from here, we thought the ball was kicked forward.
It was the man coming from right to left. But Ohio State got too much penetration. And the kicking game does it again to the Hawkeyes. And now on first down safety. No, they're going to not give him the safety. They're going to say the momentum initiated by Wells took him in from the 1. Let's take a look at this one. Folks, this one was close.
Very close. But the way I saw it, I thought he made the contact and knocked him back before he was in the end zone. Here he is. He starts to... Yeah, definitely.
Good call.
Good call by the official.
You bet.
Brent, you said it was a breakdown in the kicking game, which it was. They didn't get the points, but it's the call that creates the opportunity for a breakdown. You go ahead and kick the field goal, and still take 7 points to tie it up.
Let's watch this handoff, because I've got a question for you on a hand. That was Raymond Harris, who has replaced Carlos Snow, who has not been in the game since being hit in the helmet. Dick, you know what surprises me about that play? That you call a timeout and you allow the defense to think about the possibility of a fake. I'm always surprised when someone runs a fake kick after a timeout. If you run it quickly and they go on the field, now maybe I'm wrong.
No, well, you notice how they ran a man in motion on that play, on the field goal play. Well, they did that before and someone ran with them. So they figured they left the vacancy there so they could go ahead and run the play. Personally, I would have gone ahead and just kicked the field goal.
Well, this is 3rd and 17. Raymond Harris sweeping to the left. Ohio State is forced to punt.
Good field position for Iowa.
Scott Plate, number 6, did a heck of a job defensively for the Hawks. And now the pressure is on Williams and the Ohio State kicking game.
See, Matt Rogers doesn't know all the game plan, the quarterback for Iowa. Last night he told me, Coach, no exotics tomorrow. We're just going to take them on and beat them playing straight football. There was an exotic that backfired.
Well, they left them down there, and the defense did the job.
Yep.
They can come back. They still lead at 13-9.
Oh, that's a low punt. That's the kind you like to return.
But Jasper has it bounce off his chest. It rolls to the 26. 4 to the right and down at the 25-yard line. Oh, my. can happen to the Iowa Hawkeyes on the kicking game. This is unbelievable, folks. 70-yard punt.
Some trucks don't know when to quit.
Ohio State bounce. Folks, watch this.
This was a low line drive punt. He kept going back. Here he is at the 50-yard line. He had to turn to try to take it. I'm not sure he had to do that. He just misjudged it. And now he gets another 25 yards on that punt.
So the Iowa Hawkeyes 75 yards away from the end zone. Rogers to throw on first down. Down high to Hughes in the middle. Hughes has got it. Hughes to the 25-yard line with Roger Harper in pursuit. Well, the center fielder made like one on that play. He gets 50 yards of the 70 back in a hurry.
You know what they did is they ran a post and go into the double zone. Now, what I'm talking about is he'll come down in here, get on the safety, and run it on him against that 2 deep. It takes a lot of time to do it, but they had the time they needed to get it executed. Now, watch him go down inside. Now he'll run a burst up inside move. Now, see him? Now, there he runs the go move. See, in the safety bit on the go move. Goes ahead and makes the catch.
Is Iowa-Ohio State one of the most unusual series that you can remember over the last decade? This is remarkable. Things that are happening. Montgomery pounding away for a good 8 yards. Steve Tovar making the stop.
Ted Belliser, the offensive left guard, did a real nice job of pulling across the formation and trapping that hole open. Did a real nice job on that. See, they're not trying to take Ohio State on one-on-one straight ahead. They're pulling and doing a lot of trapping, and they're running the ball just enough to keep them concerned about the run.
2nd and 2 for the Hawks.
This has always been a running formation for them.
13-9 Iowa. Saunders slices for the first down, and he's out of bounds at the 9-yard line.
Good block by Lou Montgomery. He kicked the force man out, and Saunders dipped underneath, got around the corner, made the first down. You take a look at this now. You see what I'm talking about. Watch the fullback here. Concentrate on the fullback. And see the onside guard right there, number 55, Ferroni. He got the kick out, lead through, first down.
At the 8-yard line, Iowa with 382 yards of offense today to Ohio State's 155. This is just like a year ago at Iowa City.
Great balance in what they do with the ball, Brent.
Rogers on a quarterback draw to the 5-yard line, and Greg Smith making the stop.
Kind of looked like he was going to break his back on that play.
He's shaken up. Rogers injured on this play.
I really winced when I saw this. You'll see the quarterback draw, the running back lead. Now watch him go through. Just maintain concentration on him. Now watch him get bent back right there. Greg Smith, number 57. Someone had him low, and Greg Smith came in on top and bent him over backwards.
Now Jim Hartlieb warming up on that far side, and we've got a moment here so that we remind everybody at the conclusion of this game we'll select a Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each team, and for the 21st year through the Chevrolet Scholarship Program, $1,000 will be donated to the General Scholarship Fund of each school. Let's check in down below with Cheryl Miller. Cheryl?
Well, Brent, Carlos Snow, who's been the driving force in the Buckeyes' rushing game, has suffered a concussion, and the doctors told me that he is out for the remainder of the game.
So they do confirm a concussion on that touchdown run when he was hit up in the helmet area. And the mainstay for the Buckeyes will not return.
That's like pulling a spark plug wire off an 8-cylinder engine. You're going to run on 7 when he's not in there. Hartlieb is a real competitor now. He's throwing 9 passes going into this ball game, completed 5, one of them for a touchdown, no interceptions. He's a competitive type kid.
Certainly a well-known Iowa football family out of Woodstock, Illinois. The halfback pass incomplete. It was Saunders rolling to the left and firing returning a ball that was almost picked off in the end zone.
As you can see, he's left-handed. Well, that's one way of taking the pressure off a quarterback when they wanted to throw. They let the halfback throw the football. It's a run-pass option, see, and he keeps the ball up to keep the pass threat there. Mark Williams, 51, coming inside out. Good defense.
Iowa's not taking anything home.
No, they're not. Hey, they came to play. You know with Hayden Fry, they're going to come with everything loaded.
3rd and goal at the 5-yard line. Hartlieb down at the 13. Kaczewski, number 95.
I think they were trying to bring an offensive lineman out to pick him up, and he was just not quick enough to get out there. Top left-hand corner of your screen. See, the lineman couldn't get out there. See that right there, number 73. He could not get out there quick enough to pick him up. Kaczewski is very quick. The best thing he does is rush the passer.
Hold on to your hats, folks. It's the Iowa kicking game again.
Skip it in for the field goal.
And that one on the money. And now, wouldn't the Hawkeye coaching staff like to have that fake back? There's a 16-9 lead inside of 30 seconds. That was the most boring kicking play we've seen today. Meanwhile, over there on the sideline, Matt Rogers, who was shaken up, being tended to.
Against the University of Michigan. Come and be a part of the excitement as the 11th ranked Buckeyes battle the Wolverines. St. John.
Part of our record crowd.
Begins at 7:30 and admission is free.
There in Columbus, Ohio, better than 95,000. We want to remind everybody, Monday Night Football on ABC. The Giants and the Eagles at 9 Eastern time. And Dick, seriously, do the Eagles have any shot at all in that game?
Well, Jim McMahon will be back and playing, and he's had a good week of practice. And if you can give him time, even in the first drive against the 49ers, and he moved the ball well when he was able to stay healthy. They just have to pass.
How come the Giants can't put two halves together?
Well, you know, they don't score many points. They allow on, you know, a conservative type approach to score low scoring, don't allow the opponent to score any place. You make one mistake, one turnover or something like that, give them one extra time, and they come, you know, the other guy comes back and beats you.
Okay, we've got a 16-9 Iowa lead now, 30 seconds to go. And we want to get to the big story here with Ohio State, and that's the fact that Carlos Snow is out of the game. His replacement, or one of them anyway, Binode, has the ball on this return, and he's out to the 33-yard line for 1st and 10. Now, Dick, switch to the Ohio State offense. They certainly dropped down a notch in that running game without Carlos Snow.
No question.
What will Elliot Uselak and his quarterback Kent Graham try to accomplish now?
Well, both fullbacks, Scotty Graham, number 35, and Jeff Cochran, are averaging about 7 yards a carry from the fullback position in a trap game series that they run off an option. You might see that activated here. Plus, you might see Binode trying to run outside a little bit more.
Graham threw 20 passes last week against Michigan State. Binode and Scotty Graham. They're going to throw quickly on 1st down, and that is a 1st down. Ohio State to the 45-yard line to Stabline.
Well, Elliot Uselak, the coordinator, said they wanted to be more balanced on 1st down, but they really haven't been able to do that. That was a good call on 1st down.
Cheryl, what's the situation with Matt Rogers on the Iowa sideline?
Well, Brendan, looks like the doctors just told me that he twisted his left knee, and they don't want to take any further chances with it. He's out for the rest of the game.
So it's up to Jim Hartlieb here today for the final quarter, and the Hawkeyes leading it 16-9.
Well, if Jim Hartlieb is anything like his brother was when I used to watch him play, Chuck at Iowa, oh, what a competitor. Holy mackerel.
Well, we'll get an opportunity to watch young Hartlieb here in the 4th quarter. We'll return with more action after this message and a word from our ABC station. Well, here's our numbers after 3, Dick.
Well, you can see that Iowa's dominating in total yards at 377, 27 minutes in ball control. The big difference is in the passing game, 258 yards to 59.
Iowa has dominated the game, but only leads by 7. Node with a good twist. Got to midfield before Smith was finally able to bring him down.
Baluma almost had him in the backfield there, Brent. You know, they're playing without Rod Davis, their real fine nose guard. He's been in there a few snaps, but he's not 100%, having had an orthoscopic knee surgery.
Now there is the young man, Jimmy Hartlieb. His brother Chuck is all Big Ten quarterback twice. His brother John, a defensive end here at Iowa. And another brother, Andy Hartlieb, played linebacker at Wisconsin. He'll be the quarterback the rest of the way. Graham incomplete, throwing for Edwards. He was the intended receiver, covered by Carlos James.
He threw the ball up where he should throw it, Brent. At 6'5", Edwards can reach up there and get it, but it was just a little bit too far out of his reach. You see, he's 6'5". He ought to be able to get up and make this. He's getting up there, but it's just a little out of his reach, and good coverage.
One of the points I want to make about the Big Ten right now, as far as Rogers, who suffered a twisted knee, and he apparently is going to go on into the locker room here, done for the day. This is 3rd and 6 for the Bucks. Graham slips, comes back up, firing low, incomplete. May have been thrown off a little bit when he lost his footing.
Well, they had pressure on him, and he had to duck up underneath. He lost his footing, tried to throw the strike before he really regained his balance. You'll see what we're talking about here. There'll be pressure. He has a play-action fake. See, now he gets pressure right in his face. He slips back up in there, and he goes ahead and strides, and he throws it into the turf.
Iowa is holding Graham to 5 of 15 here today for only 59 yards. Williams is into punt. It's beginning to look like Ohio State is going to need a defensive play or another big error on this kicking game by Iowa. This is Jasper. He fielded it at the 8, and he'll be down short of the 15-yard line as Steve Tovar comes downfield on the punt team. 14 minutes to go. 16-9. Iowa leading Ohio State.
28 yards and a touchdown. That made it 24-10 for the Gators. Gators right now, they tack on another one to make it 31-10. This one in the 4th quarter. Brent, back to you.
Well, thank you, Mark. And here the Ohio State, Iowa dominating Ohio State again, but they have not been able to pull away. It's your typical Buckeye-Hawkeye game. A lot of strange happenings here today. Now Hartlieb to throw. Saunders, the converted wide receiver, forced out at the 45-yard line, but Hartlieb and the Hawkeyes are moving the ball.
See what they're doing now. When they ask him to throw the football, they're not asking him to take any chances. He runs a play-action fake to Saunders, then throws Saunders the ball after he crosses the line of scrimmage. Not a deep throw, not a high-risk throw. The one thing about Hayden Fry and his offensive staff, Carl Jackson, John O'Hara, Dave Triplett, and those people, they really know this offensive system. They've been together for a long time.
Welcome those of you who have been watching Florida beat Auburn. With Dick Vermeil and Cheryl Miller, I'm Brent Musburger here in the Big Ten. Iowa leading Ohio State right now. Iowa has lost its starting quarterback, Matt Rogers, because of a sprained knee. This is Jim Hartlieb handing off to Saunders, and Saunders bolts to the Buckeye 41-yard line, and another Iowa first down. And for those of you who have been watching this here, Florida leads Auburn 31-10, and we can get you newcomers up to date on the scoring here in Columbus. It happened this way, 7-0, as Matt Rogers took it in from 1 yard out. Carlos Snow then ran in from 2 yards, and both Rogers and Carlos Snow are out with injuries. Then Allen Cross, the tight end, 61 yards in the 2nd quarter. Jason Simmons on a blocked extra point picked up 2 for Ohio State. 16-9 on the Skillet field goal. That's where we stand right now with 11 minutes to go. And Dick Vermeil, why don't you take a breath here and give everybody an overview, especially those newcomers.
Well, right now we have the backup quarterback in there against a very solid defensive football team. And Iowa has been moving the ball real well, dominating the football game, but they haven't been able to pull away. You look at the total yards, 422 to 171. Hartley, the young backup quarterback that's played very little, has come in right now, and he's directing a very good drive against a very good defensive team. I think defensively, you've got to change up and come after him, play some man and blitz him and get that ball back.
Marvin Lampkin is into the game as a running back for Iowa. Many of you recognize the script, especially if you were with us in Iowa City last year. The Hawkeyes dominating the game, but Ohio State still in it in the fourth quarter. 10:54 to go now. It's a 16-9 Hawkeye lead. Slot man out to the left. Hartley's brother Chuck was an all-Big Ten quarterback as Whitaker comes across the line. Breaks the snap count.
Good ball. Thanks, Dave. On the offense.
Whitaker may be the smartest man on the offensive team. 3.5 GPA. Outstanding student. Makes a mental error.
Carlos Snow, a young man who dominated Michigan State and was off again today. A spectacular start. Scored the touchdown for the Buckeyes and was injured on the play. Went helmet to helmet, suffering a concussion, and the doctors have said no more this afternoon. Now 1st and 15 for Hartley. Trap. And the handoff is to Lou Montgomery, who is nailed by Rich Frimmel.
Rich Frimmel is really sort of a spark plug in that defense. He's one of those guys that's never given much credit for the production that he contributes to that defensive front. 35 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, academic all Big Ten. Just comes to play.
Saunders returns to the game as the running back, number 32. He's your motion man.
They're coming after him up inside.
They set the screen. It was high to Montgomery, and he runs into his own man. Crosses the Buckeye 40-yard line. This is still going to leave them with 3rd and quite a few yards. 7, as a matter of fact, for that first down. So this is a big play for the Hawkeyes.
That man to throw the ball to should have never been in free in a man-to-man coverage. They were blitzing. Someone should have been locked onto him man-to-man. When they went to look to throw to him, he should have been covered.
John Falloon enters the game from the Hawkeye sideline with the play. He's a control receiver. He's locked up one-on-one on the left side.
Blitz.
Hartley looks in that direction and overthrows Saunders, who had cut underneath Falloon on the pattern. And it's 4th down.
Jimmy Hartley that time did not get set up to throw the football. He read the blitz, he kept on paddling back, and he didn't plant and set and throw the ball properly. That's why it was thrown incomplete.
Some of you folks who have just joined us, I want to tell you why Iowa is wearing the black helmets today in honor of the 6 people who have died in that tragic shooting spree back in Iowa City. It's just a terrible thing which hit that campus late yesterday afternoon. Now out of a tight punt formation, Hyzak gets one out. There is a penalty flag down. The ball goes into the end zone.
Second time today they've roughed the kicker. All you have to do is run into him.
Now that is a 5-yard running into him penalty, okay? And it was 4th and 7. That will not give them a first down.
Here he comes from the left side of your screen, right side of your screen right there. It just sort of spins him around on that leg like he's on a top.
That was Dante Lee, number 5, who brushed past him that time.
Dante Lee was a much bigger factor on this football team in years past, but this year he just hasn't been able to get back into those starting lineups.
Now, he may have been confused on the rule, Dick. If they have changed the rule and it's automatic, let's see what Quinn does down here. Now I think what happened in this situation is that Quinn forgot
the rule
has been changed.
Yes.
They will mark off the 5 yards, but it is
fourth
and two now.
Yeah.
It is a running into.
Yeah. It's all 15 yards now.
Well, first of all, they'll try to draw them off sides in this situation. That's the first thing they're going to try to do.
Is Alonzo in there?
Alonzo has come across a couple of times. See how they wait. Nobody coming across. So now they run the clock out. And they will send Isaac back onto the field to punt.
Dead ball. Delay the game.
You can see the quarterback there. See him shaking that helmet a little bit. Technically, you can call that. That's head, but he's bobbing his head trying to pull you offside. You know, I think I would have called a timeout right prior to running out the time and given myself the choice of going for it on 4th and 2.
Well, they've already used one timeout. You hate to leave yourself with just one. Isaac.
Oh, nice. That's what he needed to do.
Aims one real high. Stabline with good hands. Makes the fair catch at the 12-yard line. Our storyline. Buckeyes being dominated, but still in this baby.
If you have a house as messy as this, and the sun is...
Has been a cold quarterback here in the second half. Bernard Edwards and Brian Stabline are his wide receivers. Again, he's going without Carlos Snow. Binote cuts beautifully off to the right side. That was a fine run by Butler Binote. Gary Clark whacked him for Iowa.
Real good cutback. Now, he just kept cutting back, and sometimes he's had the tendency to cut back and all the way go out of bounds. That time he cut back, and he kept working upfield at the same time. He knows he's got a lot of responsibility on his shoulders right now. I think he's a little woozy. He's coming out.
That would mean that Raymond Harris enters the game. Been a very hard-hitting football game. This is Harris. First down, Ohio State. Ball on the 27-yard line. Bailey making the stop.
That's the same play right there that Snow ran so efficiently in the second half against Michigan State last week. The double down with a tackle and a tight end, kick out with a lead back and pull that backside guard through. He darn near popped that one.
One storyline I want you to think about is that even if Ohio State scores, they will need to go for the 2 points and try for the win. We'll get to that in a moment. Here is Graham back off the fake. Dropped at midfield. He has had several passes dropped, 2 of them by Ellis. One back in the first half that would have set up a field goal, and this one would have given the Bucks a first down at midfield.
This one looked from up here as if it was thrown low and behind him. Now here he is. You'll see 89 Ellis, and he's reaching around behind him trying to get that ball. That's a tough catch for a guy that's only had 4 balls thrown to him this year.
John Derby there defensively. Ohio State has lost once in the Big Ten already. That was to Illinois. You can throw that out if they can beat Iowa. Their final game is against unbeaten Michigan. And it will do them no good to go in against Michigan with 1 loss and 1 tie if the Wolverines stay unbeaten. Graham going long and caught. Incomplete. Brian Stabline had it momentarily, and and could not hang on.
They came off the action pass, just ran the go pattern and stayed line. Not known for great speed, but known for great hands. You'll see the tail end of it here right to the left side of your screen. He's reaching for it here nicely. He's got it. He's got it. Got to get it tucked into his body. Ooh. Ooh. Knocks it out as he hits the turf. Got to come down. He thinks he has the completion.
I must say, in behalf of Kent Graham, his numbers don't look good, but he has not been helped. Nobody has stepped up here and made a big catch. I mean, Galloway had a touchdown in the first half and couldn't hold on. He needs a little help. There, that time, at the 40-yard line, Ellis.
That's the
Gets a first down on 3rd and 10. That's a 14-yard gain.
That's the second time they've completed that same pass. And that same action out of the same formation. Across the tight end, up coming across through where the slot just vacated. Ellis catches that one.
Are you
through where the slot just vacated? Ellis catches that one.
Are you surprised that the receivers haven't stepped up today?
Well, you know, it's not an offense where they get to catch a lot of balls in game day situations, you know, and they're going to drop a few.
Binote, good cut back to the left, and then got close to midfield.
See, the offensive line of Ohio State now is really coming off the ball, coming all the way off, all the way across the line of scrimmage, and that's allowing them to get up into the line of scrimmage and bend it back, and there's no defenders there. He can just keep going and then turn it up.
2nd and short after that 9-yard play. Slipping, but I believe he had the first down. He's upset because he thought he was going to go for a lot more. He seems to be working into a rhythm. Frequently you watch running backs and they get better as a game progresses. They get into a flow, they start to see the daylight, and you can almost feel Butler Binote improving here as this game wears on.
Well, Hayden Fry told me last night, he says that Ohio State has the best stable of running backs that they face at any time on their schedule, and it's proving tonight. Here's the 3rd running back playing at that position today and playing well.
Binote, 7 carries, 33 yards. 1st and 10, Ohio State. Graham in pursuit, throws, and that's intentional grounding on the play. Smith was coming, but they were also coming with a blitz that time, and Brian Wise had picked up the tempo. Now Graham is protesting that he was trying to throw and he was hit in that forearm, but Quinn will have nothing of that debate.
Well, again, Bill Brasher, the defensive coordinator, came with a changeup. He's going to bring people after him on this first down, try to create the bad play. Here comes the safety, here comes the linebacker. Now he's trying to unload it right there, and he can't get rid of it, and it's called illegal grounding.
I'll tell you what, I think Graham had an argument.
He had an argument. He was trying to throw the ball off to the receiver on the left of him.
Second down, and some 28 yards to go for Ohio State. Binote won't get it. They don't get back to the line. We'll take another look at that call of intentional grounding on Graham.
See, he's actually trying to throw the ball over here to the left. Now, what we don't know is there was a receiver in that area.
Brian Wise hit him on the forearm. That was clear. But the referee might have ruled it wouldn't have mattered that there was no receiver.
Nobody there.
Yeah. He's had a monster defensively. Graham crushed. Whistle blows. He's down at the 25. Lost more yardage, and Ohio State is forced to punt.
This is the kind of problem they've had all year. When they've had to throw, they haven't been able to throw because they haven't been able to pass protect. Young offensive tackles, both sophomores, you know, and they're learning. And the last thing to come for an offensive lineman is pass protection.
Williams, low punt. Jasper, the 28. To the 44-yard line. Inside of 5 minutes left for Iowa. They lead it by a touchdown. 16-9. We'll be coming right back. I want to remind everybody that coming up, the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report. Mark Jones and Bo Schembechler will be along. We're going to have time. Keep you up to date on all the scores. Desmond Howard with 2 more touchdown catches today for the Wolverines of Michigan. Here the Iowa Hawkeyes leading it by a touchdown. Their backup quarterback Hartley handing off to Saunders, who was tripped up. John Cooper trying to rally his troops, and Hayden Fry hoping that he doesn't get struck by that same lightning that hit him last year, having dominated Cooper all game long and then losing on a Fry to Olive pass play with 1 second left in that game. Both of these teams are 6-1. The Buckeyes were favored by a point. Hartley on a bootleg keeps it over to the left. Good speed getting to midfield that time. Cook finally had to clean up on it. John Kaczorski couldn't run him down, but Hartley looked fast getting to that outside.
Yeah, and you know Kaczorski can run, so you know Hartley can run. He was a state small school player of the year coming out of high school, indicating he's a real good athlete. And you see Kaczorski right there. He sacked a number of quarterbacks in his career here. He's going through a few injuries in his career here as well.
3rd and 4 for the Hawkeyes. 3:46. 2 timeouts left for Iowa, and more importantly for the team that trails, Ohio State with all 3. But the Bucks need the ball. Hartley brings it to the right. Throws before Judah Herman gets to him.
You know, it's so important. People work on 2-minute offenses and, you know, before the half and for the end of the game to catch up and to score. It's equally important to work on a phase of your offense where you utilize and eat up the clock. Let the clock go down. Actually, they got those 3 plays off too soon.
3.5 minutes. It's a nervous time for Hawkeye fans. It's time to kick again.
Maybe the psychic Cherie is going to be correct.
High punt. Fielded by Taylor. And it'll be the Buckeyes' ball at the 18-yard line. Washington big again. Notre Dame as expected.
Boy,
California for real.
Wow, they are for real. We saw them. We knew they were good. But when you beat SC like that, you've got to be good. Brent, the key thing now is Ohio State's got to stay ahead of down and distance, because they've already demonstrated when they're really down, behind down and distance, they can't convert. So they've got to run the ball positively and mix in the short passing game to get a good drive going in this 3 minutes.
Graham on 1st down. Play action buys time and throws for a 1st down, and Jeff Ellis took on a couple of defenders that time.
Boy, he's a big horse, but that ball was really rifled. He threw that thing across field. It was humming. The big thing is when he goes back to pass, he needs an outlet receiver if it is covered to get the ball to somebody else. See the tight end crossing left to right of your screen? Nice rifle throw right where it had to be.
1st and 10. This is Edwards. Another Ohio State 1st down. Inside of 3 minutes.
Now the calls by your defensive coordinator get a little bit tougher to call. Bill Frazier's got many, many years of experience. I'm sure he'll make the right ones, but they are tougher to call in these situations.
All at the Buckeye 43. Graham steps away from the safety blitz and is tackled at the 40 for a loss of a couple of yards. Leroy Smith there again, but they were bringing a blitz from the defensive backfield. We've got a timeout, Ohio State.
defense has given up only 9 points here today. Dick, against that blitz, for any young quarterbacks who are watching, what should they try to do?
Well, unless it's their sophisticated system where they've already been taught to go to the hot receiver, there they just unload it. Don't take the sack. Just get rid of it.
Second and long for Ohio State. Binote gets a few of the yards back to the 44-yard line. And it'll be a big third down for the Bucks.
See, these are the situations that Ohio State has tried to prevent the whole ball game. It's the real third and long situations because they basically are a play-action passing team, keeping one back and in to always help block on one offensive tackle.
9 yards they need. Edwards, Stabline, and Galloway, who was confused, now running over to the slot. He had left the field. He now comes back. They show blitz again. It's picked up. Graham goes deep. Incomplete. And it's fourth down, a penalty flag. Hold on. That's a first down, Ohio State. Brian Wise guilty of interference.
From here, it looked like Brian was just running inside shoulder right on down the field, claiming Brian Wise. Here he is, number 15, Galloway, number 7. Let's see if we can see any interference. It's a foot race right now. He's got that right arm over there trying to put. Yeah, he's going to get that call. Plus, see, he's coaching there now. Said he interfered with me.
And Hayden is officiating right now.
Yeah, he had a call at him.
Had his hand up in his chest, holding him up. It came at the 1:59 mark.
The field judge was right back there looking right at it.
I can't believe what I'm seeing, folks. The only thing different is we're in Columbus instead of Iowa City.
That's because we've done this ball game before. 9 points scored today, lowest in 23 games versus Iowa.
And still with a chance to win it.
This is a play-action pass formation.
And Graham on the roll. It's dropped by Edwards.
You know, Bernard dropped a touchdown pass last week. It was a rifled shot. Here, you'll see it to the left side of your screen. It hit him right there in the chest. A little bit behind him, but it hit him. He's got to make that catch, especially in this situation.
I think the receivers have betrayed Ohio State all game long.
Well, they really consider the receiving corps maybe just, if you're going to call it a weakness of their offense, that would have to be called a weakness.
Confirmed today. 2nd and 10.
Coming after him again.
On the blitz, no chance. Buried at midfield. Number 8, Leroy Smith. One of the Hawkeyes who helped come free again. Gator was also in there. And the clock is stopped at the 1:40 mark. We'll be right back.
A company can learn a lot in 125 years. Valvoline has. You learn in the lab, you learn on the road, you learn on the racetrack. As you learn, you make your product better. And better and better. Today's Valvoline will keep your engine cleaner than ever before. And cleaner means more protection against engine wear. 125 years of quality. That's why people who know use Valvoline.
There's a reason more people go to Sears for a new battery.
Can't believe I left my lights on.
Only Sears has the Die Hard. Sears is so confident of Die Hard starting power, if you need a jump, Sears will do it absolutely free. Anytime, anywhere, even if you leave your lights on.
I got stranded once. Never again.
Sears Die Hard. More power when you need it most.
Who's going to back you better than Sears?
3rd and 19 for Ohio State. A lot of things riding on this play right now. Hayden Fry hoping that Leroy Smith, number 8, stands tall again, as Smith has recorded 4 sacks here today
against Graham and the Buckeyes.
I don't think anyone even picked him up. See, they were bringing more people in the rush than they had to protect, and they didn't have a hot receiver system there, so he takes a sack.
Ohio State did not allow one sack a week ago. Graham on a short drop needs 19 yards, gets good time, and it's hit by Derby. John Derby cuts in and knocks the ball down with a huge defensive play. It is 4th down at midfield with 1.5 minutes to go, and the Bucks need 19 yards.
And you know, he had Galloway. You'll see Derby, number 31, to the right side of your screen, watching the quarterback's eyes in the zone. You see Galloway going right down the hole. If Derby doesn't get there and go for it, holy mackerel, there is a big one. Woo! You know, Derby has been really good in his career of knocking down. Look at this. He can't believe it either.
Up over the top, and Galloway would have gone in. The Bucks 1 for 1 on 4th down. This one just a bit bigger. Graham going to go for the touchdown. Galloway in the end zone, and it's knocked down. Defended by Gary Clark.
Coach Hayden talking to Carl Jackson, the offensive coordinator. Now, let's see. How many timeouts does Ohio State have as I look over here? They can only call 1.
And here is the backup quarterback for Hayden Fry, Jimmy Hartley. And the young men from Iowa who were obviously impacted late last night when they got word of the tragedy back on their campus. Now 127 away from beating a team that has dominated them over the last couple of decades. The backup quarterback Hartley hands off, and Saunders breaks free, and he reaches the Buckeye 37-yard line.
For a minute, I thought he was going to run out of bounds. He didn't want to run out of bounds. He wants to stay in bounds. Here's just an eye isolation play. Good block by the fullback right there, and good penetration by Judah Herman, but good vision. He breaks back, but it looked like he was going to run out of bounds. He wants to stay in bounds. Utilize the clock. Eat it up.
What a big game this now figures to be in Iowa City between Indiana and Iowa.
And we will be there.
Both teams need help from Ohio State or anybody against Michigan.
Ohio State called timeout.
This really puts Michigan in the driver's seat for the Rose Bowl. 51 seconds to go. The updated standings. Assuming a win now from Iowa. And both Iowa and Indiana, remember, have been beaten by Michigan. And the first tiebreaker in the Big Ten is head-to-head, which means that it's not a one-game lead. It's a two-game lead by the Wolverines. The second-place team this year goes to the Holiday Bowl to take on the WAC champion down in San Diego. And that well could be the winner next week of Iowa and Indiana. The Citrus Bowl is here, scouting to see who might play the ACC champion down in Orlando on New Year's Day. And it could be that the loser of the Iowa-Indiana game will go down to Orlando. All those things we'll have to wait and see. But we cannot say enough good things about Hayden Fry and what the Hawkeyes have accomplished here this afternoon. This was not easy for a lot of reasons. And the youngsters have overcome all sorts of things. As the final seconds tick away, and Hayden Fry, who has gone to 3 Rose Bowls in 13 years, still has a chance, but now he needs help from, well, Ohio State when they go up to Ann Arbor on that final week of the season to play Michigan.
You know, thinking back to the Iowa-Michigan game, they played them so well in that first half. They looked like they could play them all the way, all the way for 4. We fell apart in that second half.
It was another fake kick. If I had any suggestion for the Hawkeyes, I would say to forget the fake kicks.
I'd throw them out. I'd burn that section of my kicking notebook.
Yeah. Look how happy they are. And on the other side, of course, this is a tough setback. And watch the Iowa team. The Iowa players have gone down to where their fans are and have gone into the stands with some of these loyal fans that have come with them. Very emotional here in Columbus, Ohio. And our Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are Leroy Smith from Iowa, Greg Smith from Ohio State, and Chevrolet will donate $1,000 to each school to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need. And we'll continue in a moment.
Tomorrow morning, the world's best distance runners meet in the New York City Marathon. Then later, it's the final round of the Tour Championship, followed by the Jack Nicklaus Golf Special presented by Nationwide Insurance. ABC's College Football has been brought to you by Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America. The cars more people depend on. By UPS, now offering 10:30 a.m. guaranteed overnight air delivery. By Magnavox, smart choices for smart people. The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart. And by the 25th Anniversary Diamond, a brilliant celebration of the loving marriage. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.